awakening. Have you felt it?
All right, well, let's do this. Let's pull up the breaking news, okay, featured over at lordskunk.com. We did get some updates from EA, okay, regarding a level cap increase, okay? So here's what they had to say. Greetings. Next week, we'll be increasing the level cap to 85. Our last level cap increase was on March 31st, 2016, and a number of players have been at level 80 since April. Man, time flies. This will have given players 6 months to have reached the cap of level 80, geared up their characters, and expanded their roster. With this level cap increase, characters will be able to reach new abilities and gear tiers. But wait, where does one obtain these new gear pieces? Well, I'm glad you asked. Players will be able to obtain brand new gear from the Tank Takedown raid. This plan is to release the new raid later in October, shortly after the level cap increase. But wait a second, wasn't the Tank Takedown raid announced back in July? Why did it take so long to release it? The raid was delayed to continue QA testing, polish the art, and much more. The biggest reason, however, is to allow guilds to launch both the Pit and the Tank Takedown raid simultaneously. Now guilds will earn 2 types of currency when completing their activities each day, 1 for each raid. Previously, it wasn't possible to launch both at the same time with the tools we had in place. Guilds would have had to choose between the 2 raids, and the development team felt this would have caused some divide between their members. So now, no need to choose one or the other. You can launch both at the same time. They're completely separate with attempts and character refreshes. So the new gear is great, but is there a new character to obtain in the new raid? There is indeed a new character for players to obtain, a fan favorite that is obtainable only by defeating the heroic difficulty of the Tank Takedown raid. My vote is R2D2. Is there anything else we should know about the level cap increase or the new raid? Guilds will have both types of new currency maxed when the new raid goes live. We will announce the exact date of the raids as we get a little closer, but guilds will definitely want to spend as much of their currency as they can instead of holding on to it. Players will be able to earn rewards from the Pit and Tank Takedown raid individually. Characters used in one raid will not limit them for being used in the other. So what are your guys' initial thoughts on this announcement that they posted?
This sucks.
Elaborate on that a little more.
I'm kidding. It's actually really cool. I just, like it's like when you finally get all your characters up to level 80 and you're just sitting there and you're like, yep, they're there. And it's like, now you're going to have to go and we're going to have to, they're all going to be incomplete.
Raymond, most of us don't know that. You're the only guy with a fully maxed out every character level 80. We don't know that. But I do know what you mean about you got your core characters, which you've all got up to 80. You're rolling along nicely. You're waiting for the raids. You're in a good groove, and now they throw a level cap increase, which I kind of was hoping it just wouldn't happen for a while. But I guess they got to keep the game expanding. So we'll see what that brings.
I had my fingers crossed that it wasn't going to happen until after Rogue One came out. But you know what? I mean, it is a good thing. There's going to be new gear to get. I mean, it adds more for us to achieve. And obviously, with the new raid coming out, we'll get some new character shards. And overall, it sounds great. And obviously.
I was surprised when I first started. I was a little. My first natural reaction was, "Oh man, a level cap increase already!" But then it was smart of them to put in there that it was March 31st. So it has been quite a few months. A lot of us might not have realized that. I didn't personally realize that. So yeah,
I was thinking that too. Has it really been that long? It feels like it feels like it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, so it was smart that they put that in there at least. So now we know. I mean, it's new stuff. It's more options for us to do in the game. The one thing, though, which we'll get into a little bit later, but I'll just throw out there since it's kind of on this topic, is it seems like a lot of the stuff that they're doing is really just cash grab stuff. Compared to some of the other games that I play, it just seems a little different. The way that they go about doing things in this particular game is a lot different than a lot of other games that I play. I don't feel like other games I play are so much cash grabby. This game just like the tournament was all about it. The tournament was all about that, which we'll get into a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably say that for the tournament, but that one, of all things, it didn't really add to the gameplay so much, and it seemed like it was more of an obligation. It was kind of like Arena on steroids, and I felt like I had to, rather than I wanted to. There was no revolutionary gameplay. It was just more of the same, which is great. I appreciate the work, and but it didn't quite add anything. So it was the first kind of new content that I would quite happily kind of didn't skip, but I did do any refreshes or anything. I did what I could in the allotted stuff.
Well, I'd be curious to know. Yeah, I'd be curious to know how much they made off this compared to when they released characters to Erodium packs. You know, people have mentioned that this was they thought this was kind of like the replacement for Erodium pack or kind of a test to see, how it would pan out. I would be curious to know if Erodium packs made more money or if this did, because I think Erodium packs at the end of the day would make things a lot easier than this. Setting up a tournament this way, set up a tournament a little different way. I think a tournament should be done where you only have an allotted number of attempts, and you could spend currency, maybe not crystals, but maybe credits or something like that, to be able to move to find higher ranking opponents to try to fight. You know what I mean? For bigger rewards. But the way that they had it, where you could just go unlimited as many times as crystals that you wanted to spend, was a little crazy. So let's get into the Q&A real quick here. That looks like EA Jesse posted up on the official forums here. It's posted on lordskunk.com as well. Okay, everyone, here are some questions and answers I was able to address, or in some cases not addressed because I can't yet. If I missed your question, I apologize. I didn't dodge any on purpose. Who do you think the new character will be? His answer was more details on this as we get closer to the launch of the new raid. What player level and gear level is the new tank raid geared towards? Again, kind of a vague answer. We'll reveal more details like this with the patch notes once we get a little closer to the new raid release date. And then he was asked if level 85 will defeating non-heroic level raids or even rank or heroic give experience towards a level cap. He said no, this will not grant XP towards the level cap. Are you going to readjust credit heists to accommodate the extra cost of having to level all our characters again? And he said currently no, the amount of credits earned through the credit heist event will remain the same. Any character or any chance of rebalancing mods, improving set bonuses, reducing secondary stat bonuses? No changes or plans for mods at this time. And then a big question here: do you think that did you think this through and consider what happens if all 50 members of a guild create a guild a few days before raid lands, and/or everyone creates a guild with their alt? Or are you finally fixing the double guild jump back and forth for twice the rewards of people playing as intended? His answer was, we're putting new measures in place to prevent players from doing this. More details on this to come. Now, the question of this is that we know, and we read that earlier update, was that a few days before the new raid is launched, are going to increase or fill up everybody's raid currency. So everybody was saying, or what people were saying was, if people made alts, created a guild, and then had that guild would be full of currency, so they could therefore launch multiple raids and do it that way. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that, and at least they're addressing this ahead of time, because I think some of the stuff with the tournament may not have been addressed or thought of ahead of time. So it looks like they're at least bringing this stuff up, so that's good. And then getting here, we're about halfway through the questions he answered. So is there any chance that we will see some new challenge tiers along with this level cap increase? And he said, yes, there will be some new challenge tiers, but then they go on to say new daily challenges. And he says, I do not have all the information on this. We'll share once I know more. So, okay, I don't know what the other challenges would be referred to, but we'll see. First, there was a raid, then no raid, but mention of ships. Now we're back to raid, but no mention of ships. He says ships are still being worked on. The raid was delayed for the reasons stated in the announcement at the start of this post. With the level increase, what does that mean for daily omegas? Will we still get them at level 80, or will we need to advance to level 85? You will still be able to obtain your daily omega by completing all activities for the day from levels 80 to 85. Okay, that's good to know. And then what about tier 6 and 7 mods? Are those on the back burner now? Will those also be available with the new raid? So this is big. There will not be 6 or 7 star mods in the new raid, okay, which previously was announced that there would be. And then will there be new Cantina light side and dark side nodes? Yes. So new nodes for Cantina, new nodes for the light side, dark side story missions or whatever mode missions, and then of course no 6 or 7 star mods announced, which comes as a bit of a surprise. So if you want to check those out for yourself, you can check out the updates on lordskunk.com. Both are on there, the Q&A as well as the update. What are your guys' thoughts on these questions and answers?
I thought it was pretty. Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. I mean, it's, the first part of it. I mean, of course, like all the spoiler stuff, he doesn't want to answer.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you later. But it's like at least the guy asked the questions that everybody wants answered. But I like that the guild currency is going to be 2 separate currencies. That's a big deal because I mean, we were all thinking that that people might have to start switching into different guilds that don't have Han Solo to to get him, or people that didn't get to finish Han Solo yet, we're gonna have to wait till the guild's ready to go back to doing the old raid again to finish their character up, or we didn't know how they were going to handle that. But what's really interesting is, I mean, how are the leaderboards going to work now? How's the point system going to work now, right? Because I mean, if they have two different raids, it's going to be two different point systems, and um, how is the ATT tank raids coins accumulated? Is it the same way? Do we do 600 and then that gives us our coins? I mean, those are the questions I would have liked to have seen them ask.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff. Sometimes when we get those questions answered, it only opens up more questions. But what are your thoughts on the 6 and 7-star mods? Because I know that they announced that it was going to be defense, I believe, and health mods. We're going to be dropping in the new raid. I know some people have held off on getting some additional mods because of that. They've been focusing more on Cantina characters, maybe like B2 or this new spy that's in there, and haven't been focusing on mods. Now, what are your thoughts on that? Because it was announced that was going to be the case, that we were going to get these new mods.
I'm kind of thinking in terms of if they're going to throw in a level increase, level cap increase, then it's probably good to hold off on the mods. Not great for those people who are waiting on them. But I mean, that's a trend at the moment. Obviously, we wait for some content and it takes them a little longer and they change their plans a little bit. I mean, it's always going to happen. It's an evolving thing, so they can't always stick to an exact plan. But yeah, that's probably longer term. It's better to keep a level cap increase and newer mods separate, because if you chuck them all in at the same time, there's just going to be chaos. So I think it's a way for them to possibly increase their revenue through, I wouldn't call it a cash grab, but slowly piecing these things out and separating them out. Plus, as a player, I think I prefer them to be separate rather than all at the same time.
Well, with the increase to gear, right, we're going to now be gearing probably past gear 11. So we're going to be going into like gear 12. So there's a chance that statistics are going to be raised with those gear levels too. So I mean, besides the gears, you're also going to be getting characters that increase their base speed, characters that increase their, I mean, maybe they'll have a couple of speed mods in there for Darth Maul. Would that be nice? I mean, some speed,
they might just fix Darth Maul.
Gears. They might just fix them,
Yeah.
But yeah, with the gear and I definitely had the same thoughts myself. I mean, it seems like they're kind of ditching the 6 and 7 dot mods for a later date, and I'm okay with that. I mean, right now, people are spending a lot of time farming these 5 dots, and it's like, I mean, I guess it would be kind of a little soon to just all of a sudden say, okay, these 5 dots are worthless now, and now we're going for these 6 and 7 dots, and you're gonna have to start throwing those out, and if people get lucky. But I mean, just overall, I think it's good to hold off.
Yeah, especially with the new stuff, and that's probably the one thing I'm most excited about with the level cap. I mean, I don't love the idea of having to accumulate all those credits again, and because everyone forgets now because it's been a while. You need a lot of credits to level up. So no, but the new gear that's unlocking those unobtainables, those little cogs that have been there for a long time. We're finally going to get to see what those are. But it does look like you can only get them from the raid. So
at least they're not going to pre-craft anymore.
Yeah, you can't pre-craft something that you can only get from a new raid. So hopefully they're completely new pieces of gear, and hopefully they're a little something more interesting. And we'll see which household appliance they resemble this time.
Yeah, so interesting stuff there for news for the week. So good stuff. I mean, it's not nothing in there was too crazy. I didn't see anything in there too revolutionary. Now they did hint at the new character. Obviously, I think most of us can agree that it's going to be R2D2. He was featured in the trailer. We could be wrong, but I'd say probably 80% chance that it's R2D2. Some people have mentioned C3PO, but we haven't seen much of C3PO. We've actually seen R2D2 in action in that trailer. So only time will tell. Any thoughts on the new characters, guys, or any guesses?
Yeah, I'm probably going with R2D2, and if it's not, and they're going to throw a curveball, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's going to be Jedi Luke, because that's probably the one that's been thrown around the most. And he's been a long time coming. He's on the splash screen, front of the game. It's going to have to come out sometime.
I think that personally, I don't think it's going to be Jedi Luke. I think Jedi Luke is going to be coming in an event, kind of like like Palpatine and Yoda did. I think that's a major character, and I think they're going to make a big deal about him specifically. It's not going to be through a raid. You're probably gonna need to. And this is just my opinion. Again, I just think that we've had to collect Jedi to get Yoda. Okay, we've had to collect Rebels to get Emperor. And I just have a feeling like we're gonna have to collect the Empire for something. And I think that the Empire may be the collection that you may have to get for Luke at some point if they ever decide to have a Luke event.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And but
Yeah, that's why I said it'd be a curveball if it is Luke, but more than likely because it's been touted since like Star Wars events and E3 stuff that they kind of basically said it was going to be R2D2.
Thanks for checking out the video. If you're interested in joining a guild, head over to teamskunk.com. We do have open positions in our various guilds. Also, check out lordskunk.com for guides and news for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, LordSkunk1. Also, check out our Discord app. It's a voice and text chat program that you can download on your Mac, your PC, your iOS, or your Android device, and you can connect with thousands of other Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes players. Want access to the ally codes of some of the most infamous players in all the galaxy? Head over to lordskunk.com, click on links, then click on promo, and follow the directions there. We draw winners every Friday during the live show. If you like this video and want to see more, make sure you hit the like button. Also hit the subscribe button. You'll be notified when we go live and when we upload new videos. Thanks for checking out lordskunk.com.